Hello everybody, I am Bets Golden and we're just going to jump right into it. I am right now spraying the back of this piece of paper with some pixie spray because I'm going to run it through my brother's scan and cut to create a stencil so that I can sublimate. It is such a fun technique, and I am super excited that you are joining me today. I also am using my new craft press from Artesprix for the first time. So you're going to get to see me walk through and do that as well. I have to let that set up for about a minute or else it gets a little too sticky. The reason why I like to do this is because I don't have to purchase a new mat all the time. Now I do have it set up to ice sweat glitter. That's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to run it through the scan and cut, and then I'm just going to actually save those letters, making sure that the centerpieces I set aside as well, because I'm going to be using this for my stencils. The letters can be saved for another time. I'm just cutting it down to the right size for my substrate, and then I'm going to go ahead and on a piece of copy paper adhere it using some mint tape, but I'm going to flip it over because it's going to be the mirrored image of whatever I put onto my substrate with the technique that I'm using. This is just to hold it down long enough for me to color it in with my Artesprix sublimation markers. And that's what makes this whole thing work, is the sublimation markers. So I am going to use a couple colors on it, and then I'm going to run it through my craft mat. But before I do that, I need to make sure that my markers are nice and ready to be used. So I flip them upside down for about 20 minutes to get the ink to the nub. And as you can tell, as I color, they're super, super juicy. And I'm just adding right now the center of the A and the R back in so I can get started on my coloring with those markers. And the color that I'm choosing is the pink out of the original set from Artesprix. And I'm going to just be coloring in the glitter with that very carefully. And I'm actually working my way up, making sure that I keep my hands over the areas to keep the stencil flat, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of holding it with my hand in addition to making sure that the mint tape is on well. And then for the next color, I'm actually using more of like the pastel line. And it is, I think it was called Ballerina. And it's a really fun light pink. But you're going to notice that as I continue on in the video, I actually end up ditching this and doing something different, which is okay. That's what makes this so cool, is if I really didn't like it, I can always go back and start over because it's just copy paper and I haven't ruined anything. But in this particular case, I do go back over it with a different color and it doesn't even look bad when I sublimate. It looks perfect. Now I'm going to go in with a black fine tip from the black marker line from Artesprix. And I'm going to just outline each of those letters to bring some, just so it's uniform and it's neat. So this is how I like to kind of neaten it all up. And I'm using the fine tip on this. And then once I get that all laid out, you're going to notice that I look at it and I go, you know what? I think that this just needs to be black. So at that point, I just decide to go back through and just color it all in black. And I really love the results. So once that's done, I'm going to go over to my new craft press. And there is the power button on the back. So I'm going to power it up. And then I'm going to, I'm holding the camera with one hand and doing this with the other. I'm going to get it to 400 degrees and it's going to need to heat up for about 20 minutes. Now that bottom right there is not heated. That is your silicone mat. So that doesn't heat to the touch. In the meantime, I'm going to get my sports towel ready. And oh my gosh, this thing is so soft. I love it. I have 3 and my daughter has already claimed 1. She's working on hers today, where she's going to do some sublimation. So I'm just going to take that stencil that I have done out, used, take it off of my copy paper. And I'm going to remove all the tape. That's super important because that can get sticky if it sublimates, and that's no fun. And I'm also going to remove those center pieces as well, though that's not so crucial because wherever there's ink, it will sublimate. The only thing that doesn't allow sublimation to take place is your sublimation tape. So, just keep that in mind, that if there's tape down and you've marked on it, or if there's like something down and you've marked on it, it will continue to sublimate if the ink's there. But the tape, if you tape over that in your picture, then it won't sublimate. You'll be fine. So I'm just flattening it out. And since I'm going to be using the press, I do not have to tape all of this down with the heat resistant tape. And it's super important you use heat resistant tape because, again, if you heat up regular tape, it gets icky and sticky and it's just ugly. This really withstands the heat. So I'm just taping it down on the corners. And I got to tell you guys, I'm super nervous about this because I've always done such a thorough tape job whenever I've done this. And I'm really nervous because I'm like, man, that's not going to hold. I'm going to get a ghost image. I'm just super nervous. But with the craft press, it's a whole different game. So I'm just trusting the process right now as I tape all of this down. I'm like, gosh, I hope I don't screw this up because I love this towel. And now I'm going to be laying out some silicone paper. This is special paper made for sublimation. And what it does is it traps that ink, turning it into a gas and forcing it onto my substrate. This works with polyester 80% or more coated or blend material. So whether it's metal or, in this case, this really soft fluffy towel, it's totally going to work. And I'm just going to create a sublimation sandwich. And what that is I put a piece of silicone paper on the bottom. Then I lay my towel with my ink side up. So that's going to be touching the press, right? And then I top it with that silicone sheet, the other sheet. And then it is ready to be sublimated because that is now entrapped in that sublimation sandwich. That ink is entrapped in the sublimation sandwich and it will transfer beautifully. So that's how that goes together. Now I'm going to go back over to my craft machine and I'm just going to press it down, hit the top for 60 because it needs to sublimate for 60 seconds. And there is a knob right there to help you with your, to like help with the pressure. I didn't play with that much. This seemed to work fine for me. I'm kind of scared of it, but I'm sure that with the next thing that I do that may be thicker, I may have to loosen it. But from what I understand, it's just kind of you need to do this if it doesn't feel like it's, I don't know, like clicked into place. I don't know. I'll still work with that, you guys, but I got to tell you, held just fine for this. The pressure was perfect. So after 60 seconds, I went over and I went ahead and opened it up, leaving it in the open position. And I waited for it to cool down completely before removing it. And then I turned it off. And here I go to just reveal that fabulous sublimation, and it won't rub off or anything like that. If you guys want any of the products, I do have an affiliated link listed down below. Also, if you are not subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope that you consider doing so, making sure that you like this video and leave me any questions or comments down below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until next time, happy crafting.